Hi, welcome to the Online Learning Center. I'm Coach Mark Evans. Our YouTube channel, Evans Coaching, consists of 6 different categories of videos for you to help you swim, bike, and run more efficiently. And all the coaching videos that I do are to be viewed as if I'm coaching you one-on-one. And yes, I will be inserting graphics and an occasional video or photographs inside. For the most part, what I'm trying to come across as if I'm coaching you right on the pool deck, at the track, or on your bike, or dry land, or a workout whiteboard. So we have a variety of different categories for you to choose from. And we really appreciate all the subscribers. I think we're approaching 500 now, which is really exciting for me personally. Today's video is concerning swimming and how to breathe while you're swimming. And I've gotten actually a couple of emails from Australia and China recently, and they were asking, how do I coach that when I'm working with a client? The first thing, though, that I want to take a moment to review, and I've done this in other swimming videos, is that we'll talk about some of the basics of your head position and your sternum position and your eye positions before I go into the few tips that I have on how to breathe properly when you're swimming. The first thing is, and actually it's in all sports, you need to have your headline. And the headline, as I refer to this, is that your ears are going to be right even with your shoulders, and they're going to remain there pretty much the whole time. When you are turning your head for a breath, you want to do so with your sternum right here in the center of your chest, and your chin and your nose to actually be turning together. Also fairly almost entirely together, maybe just a little separation towards the end as you move over to get your breath, but that's pretty much what I like to see is your headline stays even with your shoulders, your nose and your chin stay even with your sternum. And the last thing is we like to see is your goggle line, so that actually when you're turning your head to get a breath, you're not turning your head, if this is the water here, you're not turning your head so far that more than one goggle, so it's a single goggle or one eye, is out of the water when you turn. You know, the less you turn your head, the more streamlined and more efficient that you can be in your swimming. And it's going to actually have a connective reaction to the rest of your body. The more you turn your head, the more your hips are going to turn, the more the legs might fishtail a little bit as you do that, the more the arms might cross over or cause other asymmetrical movements. And again, you know, a lot of the asymmetries that we have are related to mobility and flexibility. So it's always a good idea to make sure that your mobility is functional to begin with, and then institute a deliberative practice process of headline, sternum, and chin line, and then your goggle lines. You know, I like to pass-fail coaching. I like to actually have an athlete, give them an instruction to do a particular skill, and then ask them if they feel as though they passed or failed in the execution of that. And most of the techniques that I use are easily for you to self-coach. And for example, if I were to ask you to swim 25 yards and to work on the goggle line or your eye line, so it'd be very easy for you to know that if only single goggle is coming out of the water each time. So when you're at the wall, I would ask you, did you pass or fail? And of course I would have observed, and you're going to be able to say, I don't know, or pass or fail. And if you say I don't know, that's a fail. If you say pass, that means 100% of the times, every time you take a breath, that you're executing just a very deliberate practice, single goggle on each turn. And I'll do another video about adult learning, you know, those who maybe didn't start swimming or cycling or running as youths, and how practicing these deliberate practice techniques is very useful for those of us, those who have maybe started swimming later in life. When you breathe, let's talk about the breathing. The breath occurs, and I like to see an early breath. So when you begin your pole or your anchor position, so your elbow is high, your forearm and hand are more or less straight down, as you begin to engage that movement, as soon as those hands and forearm go down to make that catch, the torso and the head are actually going to rotate to that side that you're breathing on and at the same time. So what I like to refer to that as an early breath. So make sure that in order to get your symmetry, that you're going with movement. So movement begets movement. So it's not like you pull and then breathe, but it's actually pulling and turning the torso to that eye line, to that goggle line to get the breath. So it'd be an early breath. Perhaps as important as that in keeping your symmetry is the how much air are you taking in, and where do you take it in? Are you taking it into your upper chest, or are you getting a full inhalation into your abdominal, your lower diaphragm? Your abdominal muscles are expanding, and that's what I think a lot of swimmers, triathletes tend to not do, and that's to get a full inhalation. And that could also be a technique where you're actually swimming a set of 10 or 12 25s or whatever it is, and you're taking enough rest so that each one is a very deliberative quality, so that each of these swims, on each breath, you're rotating with your goggle line and you're taking a full inhalation, expanding that lower abdominal area, and you're finding yourself that you're going to be floating a little bit higher in the water when you do that. There's just guaranteed to feel a little bit more buoyancy in the water. You want to make sure that that you're not actually holding the breath for more than just a millisecond or so, but there might be some breath held momentarily as you're returning your hand back into the water. The thing that you might notice, and just kind of digressing just a little bit into what we saw at the Olympics last summer in Beijing, you know, if you watch I believe that Michael Phelps wins his races underwater, not above the water. And if you look at his breath holding capacity, it's significantly more than others. But it's also, I think, a buoyancy factor in that, you know, by him to take in such a full inhalation and breath of air, it's actually, as he goes deep into his dolphin kick off the wall. So it's two things, dolphin kick and the breath holding capacity, that I think helped him win his medals. But it's also that buoyancy factor that he gains as he comes off the wall, because he's holding that breath, and it's actually helping propelling him up towards the surface of the water in combination with his world-class kicking capacity. So the real two things that you want to take away from this are that you maintain your head and goggle lines and your eye lines, and that you're going to take that breath with the roll, and that it occurs as you make your pole. And then the second thing is that you make sure that you get a full inhalation into your stomach, into the diaphragm, expand the diaphragm. And I'm sure that these two tips are going to help you make all of your movements in swimming much better than the last. Thanks again for watching. Thanks a lot for subscribing, and we'll see you soon. Take care.